What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we are going to be going over none other than the full BT-11 set review. So why am I going to be going over BT-11? Well, it's time to really talk about it, since Nats for US is actually going to be none other than our good friend BT-11. So we get to talk about it. So let's dive into this video and break it down, shall we? So first off, let's really get into it. We're going to be talking about red because red is the first color in the setup, as you know. But red introduced a lot of good support and an introduction to a new mechanic called Raid. So, Raid is when this Digimon attacks, you may switch the target of the attack to one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with the highest DP. Which is good, because sometimes your opponent has Digimon that are really hard to get through, that just keep unsuspending, and we just need to swing into them. Really useful, like Mother D Reaper, you can only swing into her, and stuff like that. So, being able to use Raid as a mechanic really does help out. So, I kind of broke it down a little bit differently. I did it by decks related to the theme. We know that Marsmon plus Phoenixmon is kind of like the go-to deck for the red base, and then we do have Shoutmon as being the next deck in line. So first off, Yokomon. Now red has a consistent draw Digi-Egg. So this one is really simple to get off. This one only requires you to have a red tamer in play. That is a very easy condition to meet, and as long as we have that, we can draw cards, and I think there's no issue of us getting there. Then we do have a new Biomon. Biomon finally getting some decent love and support. Biomon players, I'm going to say this, live your best life. I'm going to tell you this right now. Do not take this to a full competitive tournament unless you're ready to get smacked. Unless Black War Greymon gets hit in some capacity, do not expect to be playing this deck. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 red Digimon card with Vaccinius traits and 1 red Tamer among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. And then, on deletion, if you have a red Tamer in play, gain 1 memory. Now, allowing you to gain memory is very powerful, but the theme of this deck, actually, with the Tamer, we can use their on-deletion skills as normal effects for when attacking and stuff like that. That really is impressive, in my opinion. So that's something you got to look at. Then you have Bearmon here. So your turn, when this attack of the target of this Digimon switches, you gain 3000 DP for the turn. This combos in really nicely with Raid and Marsmon, because Marsmon wants to switch the attack, but that's the issue. There's just not enough Marsmon support for the deck to actually stand on its own 2 feet, so it has to compensate with Biomon's line to try to work together in a way that just doesn't always function. Then we do have Grizzlymon with Raid. Being able to switch the target to that unsuspended Digimon really punishes them a little bit. Your turn, when the attack target of this Digimon switches, it gains 3000 DP for the turn. Early raids can really apply pressure. Then we have Bergermon, that is a blocker. On deletion, you may play a red Tamer with a play cost 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. This is how we flood the board with Tamers. Really useful. Then Garudamon, so blocker. And then on deletion, you may play 1 red Tamer with a play cost 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. So even if they get rid of our Digimon, we can set up a double Tamer up. Really useful, in my opinion. Then we have Grapple Leomon, the Raid. Your turn, when the attack target of this Digimon switches, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Free value there, really useful. And then Phoenixmon is your turn. When a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, you may activate one of these cards on deletion effects. Really useful, because now we can either play a Tamer for free, or even activating Phoenixmon's effects. On deletion, you may play 1 red Digimon with Bird, Avian, Beast, 4 Sovereigns, or Animal into one of his traits, except Sea Animal, and 3000 DP or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. For each red Tamer you have in play, add 2000 DP to the maximum DP you can choose with this effect. So this thing will keep climbing up and be useful that way, in my opinion. We can climb up, get down this by just having 2 Tamers out, or if we're lucky enough, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 4 Tamers can get us a Phoenixmon down very easily, and that can lead to being just some powerful plays that way. Then we have Marsmon itself. So Raid, when Digivolving Blitz, so at least we can swing into something with Blitz, really useful. And then your turn, when the attack target of this Digimon switches, unsuspend this Digimon, gain 1 memory for each Red Tamer you have in play. This allows you basically to get 2 attacks in. If you have 4, after you blitz, that gets it back to your turn. And hopefully with enough firepower, we can climb over any Black War Greymon. That is the goal of this deck, is just raid, redirect to kill. And the only issue I see is that restand effect, when this target switches, unsuspend this Digimon, is not a you may effect. That's a mandatory. So now you're kind of screwed because Black War's Greymon's effect procs first. If you're lucky and they blow up everything else beforehand, you might be able to survive it. Next card we're going to talk about, though, is Shoutmon Star Sword. Material save 1. On play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. And then it also, then if Digicrossing with 2 cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 2000 DP or less. No inheritables and everything like that. Star Sword isn't really used right away. This is used in next format in BT-12s because now you can use it as another name to splash in for what you need to do superior mode. So that's something there. Then we do have Shoutmon ×3, material save 2. Start a turn by deleting this Digimon, gain 1 memory. On play, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 2 cards with Crossheart or Blue Flare and traits among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. This helps you fix the ×4 issue now that we only have 1 ×4. But with ×3 now, we can at least search the deck a little bit, add cards to our hand, and then we get to Digicross with very important pieces here. You Digicross with Shoutmon, Ballistamon, and Dorlula. So this now becomes a 1-cost on play ×3 with less pieces required. Now you don't need Starmon, so being able to just have Shoutmon, Ballista, and Dorlula, very easy to get that off. And I mean, coming in for 1, you still get a search out of the deal, and then start your main phase by deleting this Digimon. It's a choice. He sticks on the board. He's a little bit of spongy blow up target, but at least with material save 2, you can just apply pressure that way. Then we have Omni Shoutmon. So when you would Digicross, the name of this card and Digimon is treated as Shoutmon. When Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. If this Digimon has Shoutmon in its name, in his Digi-Evolution cards, delete 2 of your opponent's Digimon with DP 4000 or less instead. So that's going to help you out by removing targets that way. This card is splashed in the Shoutmon ×7 deck, and that is the viable version of this deck this time around. Your turn, when this Digimon has Shoutmon in its name, this Digimon gets security +1. So Omni Shoutmon is just very useful, and being able to Digivolve on top of a Shoutmon for a 4 cost really can apply work there. Then we have Shoutmon DX. On play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP of 8000 or less, and then one of your opponent's Digimon may not attack until your opponent's next turn. So it can lock down an opponent. It's quite expensive. It comes in for a whopping 7 cost if you Omni Shout and Z Greymon, and then an attack, delete this Digimon, gain a memory. Not valued enough in my opinion. I mean, being able to remove an 8000 DP or less, and then they shut down a complete other Digimon's turn from swinging or applying pressure. Really useful, especially it can help lock down a Black War Greymon X. But the material save 2 helps, and then you have Omni Shout and Z Greymon just going for town there. I mean, counting itself as that helps fix the issue this deck has a little bit of getting consistency pieces of both. So Shoutmon DX, thank you. And then we have Shoutmon ×7 or Cross 7. It has Rush, which is really useful. Material save 4, so it gets to save 4 of its materials. Very nice. On play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP. So on play, being able to pop something, really useful. But all turns, for every 2 cards in this Digi-Evolution, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. I wish it had a little more protection that it could survive, but the problem comes down to is Black War Greymon's just going to blow it up at the end of turn. And material saves 4 is nice. We can reduce this all the way down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 sources. This brings it down to a 2 cost. Not bad for crossing for 2. Hopefully this deck has some legs to stand on now we're going to have to see what the deck's going to hold out to do, because times 7 has potential ridiculously. Next, let's get into blue. Wanyamon or Watamon, I think it's going to be called, or it's going to be Wanyamon. This card is when attacking once per turn. If you have a blue tamer in play, draw a card. It took how many sets for it to finally power creep Upamon out of the format? This card is now basically the new Upamon. We're going to see this consistently wise, and just draw power is what we needed. And now, with tamers everywhere, we have this always live. Gaomon, you're on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 Digimon with Gaomon in its name, and 1 tamer among them to your hand, trash the remaining cards. When attacking, if you have a tamer in play, return 1 of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to its owner's hand. Okay. Being able to bounce things, really nice. Problem about this line is that it's not consistent enough by itself. What happens is Mirage Galgamon just becomes a top-end Digimon for the Leomon deck. The rest don't really see play. And even the next wave of Mirage Galgamon isn't really doing anything. We'll have to see if the Christopher stuff in BT-13, because we know this, he's going to get his burst mode in that set, should have some sort of support that's going to work, because I don't think the EX4 stuff really cuts it, but that's just me. And then Gaomon, so when attacking, if your opponent has 8 or more cards in hand, gain a memory. When attacking, if you have a tamer in play, return 1 of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to its owner's hand. Being able to control the board for Rookie Rush, fine, but nowadays, it doesn't matter. Then we have Mecha Gaomon. So when Digivolving, this Digimon gains blocker and gets plus 2000 DP for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand until the end of turn. And then when effect adds a card to your opponent's hand, unsuspend this Digimon. So being able to unsuspend the Digimon, really important. And the problem I have with this unsuspend, it's not a you may. You're forced into it. So basically Black War Greymon just goes like, hi, you unsuspended because you have to? Die. So that's the biggest problem with this. The you may is what hurts this deck a lot. So if you can't kill the Black War Greymon right away, X, you're kind of screwed. When Digivolve, return 1 of your opponent's level 5 or lower for the Mirage Galga Digimon to its owner's hand. If no Digimon is returned by this effect, your opponent adds the top card of the security stack to their hand. I don't get why we're doing that. Let's add security that might kill our Digimon or help fix our opponent's issue. Sometimes I wonder what they're thinking. Now, you're giving your opponent, yes, it's negating them in security, they're taking damage, but they're getting a card out of it. And if you know by Dragon Ball Super's way of play, that helps you more than it hurts you. So, all turns, when an effect adds a card to your hand, gain 1 memory for every 4 cards in your opponent's hand. So, not a bad thing when we can gain memory for every 4 cards, but that restrictedness is ridiculous. Then we have Dracmon here, so Digivolve's on top of a Babyito. This is for Blue Flare. Your turn, when you would play another Digimon with Dracmon in its name or Blue Flare, it gets draw. In its traits, draw a card. So at least you get some free value out of it. And then when you would play another Digimon with Dracmon in its name or Blue Flare in its traits, gain a memory for its inheritable. I mean, draw and gaining a memory is a very powerful thing, and this rounds out the deck to actually have another baby that it needed. And then we have Metal Greymon Cyber Launcher. So, plus Cyber Launcher. So this thing has Armor Purge. It's treated as Metal Greymon and Cyber Dramon. On play, when Digivolving, you may place 1 Digimon with Blue Flare in its traits from your hand or under your team as the bottom of this Digimon's Digievolution sources. Return 1 of your opponent's level 3 or lower to the bottom of his owner's deck. If this Digimon has Cyber Dramon in its Digievolution cards, return a level 4 or lower to the bottom of his owner's deck. Digicross Metal Greymon and Cyber Dramon. So since it counts as a Cyber Dramon, you just play a couple of these, like 3 of these, so you can put 1 underneath and call it a day. The problem I have with this card is it just 4 and 3 is so restrictive, especially for what you're going to be forced to do. I mean, this could have easily just bottom decked the 5, especially if you're putting a Cyber Dramon underneath. I don't get why it's a level 4. I mean, it could have been just return a level 4 by its base effect and then be a 5 for the other. That would have worked and actually helped out a lot. Then we have Z Greymon. This sees play in Blue Flare and in the Cross 7 deck. Or, you know, X7. So when Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon. Then if you have a blue flare or a cross sergeant traits in the evolution cards, your opponent has 2 or more Digimon, gain 2 memory. On deletion, save. Opponent's turn, while this Digimon has blue flare in its traits, gain blocker. This blocker helps out apply pressure, and I think being able to unsuspend this Digimon by its natural means really does help out. I think the deck has high potential and Digivolves for 2 from a Metal Greymon, so that's going to help you out in the long game. Then we have the Vmon line. On play, reveal the 3 cards of the top cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon with Vdramon in its name and 1 Tamer among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. Your turn, when you play a blue Tamer, gain 1 memory. So, we're going to hopefully gain memory and continue our plays from there. Next card, though, is Vdramon. Your turn, once per turn, when you play a blue Tamer, draw a card. If this thing wouldn't die to Black War Greymon instantly, I mean, this deck would be fine. The problem is, it has no protection against a deletion effect. So that's something you have to worry about. Your turn, when you play a blue Tamer, gain 1 memory. And then we have Arrow Vdramon main effect. By suspending this Digimon, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. All your blue Tamer cards among them to your hand. Add all blue Tamer cards among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. Activate one of your arena's effects on play effects, is when it's attacking. So that gets useful, and you can spam a little bit there. And then you have All Force Vdramon itself, the ace of the deck. When Digivolving, you may play 1 blue Tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost. Your turn, when you play a blue Tamer, unsuspend the Digimon. Your turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended, return one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon to its owner's hand. Increase the maximum level of the effect of chosen by 1 for each blue Tamer you have in play. Sadly, this is a once per turn effect. Make it twice per turn. I wouldn't mind that. Or make it so that it was when Digivolving, bounce, and then once per turn on the stand. Like, give it that little bit of extra boost, and it would have been fine. Then you have Snow Goblimon, never going to use it. Penguinmon, on play, place 1 blue level 3 card or 1 Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animal from its traits from your hand. At the bottom of this Digi-Evolution cards, draw a card. This is, I guess, Shaman support. And then Hygonmon, the vanilla, nothing too crazy there. Then we're going to talk about yellow. Tokomon is when you play a Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel in traits, draw a card. This is supposed to be used for Mastamon, but why would you use it? Chumon here, basically the Sukamon deck. Chumon, your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into a card with Sukamon in its name, reduce the Digi-Evolution cost by 1. And then, on deletion, if this Digimon has Sukamon or Edamon in its name, you may play 1 Chumon from your trash suspended without paying its memory costs. He can cycle himself, basically, once you Digivolve up. Sukamon here is on deletion, reveal the 3 cards from your deck, add 1 card with Chumon, Sukamon, or Edamon in its name among them to your hand, trash the rest. When this Digimon would be deleted by deleting another Digimon with Sukamon in its name from the field, prevent its deletion. Being able to change, since the deck focuses on changing your opponent's Digimon, you can use that as a cost to try to blow it up. Not a bad deal right there. And then we have Edamon here, on play when Digivolving by trashing 1 card with Sukamon in its name from your hand or from the Digi-Evolution cards. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP and security minus 1. That is going to help out security attack 1, minus 1. And then all turns when this Digimon would be deleted by deleting another Digimon with Sukamon in its name from the field, prevent that deletion. Not bad trade-off there in my opinion. Then we have King Sukamon. So on play when Digivolving, if your opponent has 16 more cards in their trash, or if you have 3 or more cards with Sukamon in their name from name in your trash, one of your opponent's Digimon becomes Sukamon white 3000 DP until the end of opponent's turn. It changes to a white Digimon, so that helps prevent Digivolving up in a lot of cases. But it keeps its original name, it keeps its inheritables, it keeps its traits. Everything about it doesn't become a vanilla. So there's something to think about there. And when attacking for each other Digimon with Sukamon in its name in play, this Digimon gets security plus 1 for the turn. Applies pressure, I like it. And then basically it has that protection, so it can self-protect a couple times. Not a bad deal. And when this Digimon all turns would be deleted by deleting another Digimon Sukamon in its name from the field, prevent that deletion. Not a bad thing. Then Metal Edamon himself. On play when Digivolving, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. You may play any number of Digimon with Chumon, Sukamon, or Edamon in their name among them with a total play cost 7 or less without paying their memory cost. Trash the rest. This basically lets you get a free King Sukuban from the trade-off. I think that's really useful. Then we have Cutemon here. Doesn't see any play, even in its Crossheart variant. On play, place one Digimon card with Crossheart in its traits from your trash at the bottom of one of your tamers. If you have a Digimon with Darulamon in its name, or has Darulamon in its Digi-Evolution cards in play, place up to 2 Digimon with Crossheart in its traits from your trash to the bottom of one of your tamers instead. So, not a bad trade-off in my opinion. Cutemon's adorable. Clear Agumon's just a vanilla. Kotemon, blocker. Your turn, this Digimon can't attack players. I think that's kind of useless, but hey, I don't get why they did that. Centauramon, when Digivolving, you may play one of your other Digimon on top of your security. You may place one of your other yellow Digimon on top of your security stack face down. Yeah, not a bad card. I just wish it was better. I mean, it's a when Digivolving effect, so I don't think you want to just sacrifice everything. And then Calvis Angemon, when Digivolving, you have 5 or fewer cards, recovery 1. And then your opponent's turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn. Doesn't see play at all. It's a bad card. Then we have Angemon the sees play, because on deletion, you may play a purple Digimon, or if you have a purple Digimon or a purple Tamer in play, you may play one Devimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. So that Devimon has Retaliation and Rush, so something to think about there. And then we have Angelwomon herself. When Digivolving, you may search your security stack for one card with Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel in chase, reveal it, add it to your hand. If you added a card to your hand, recovery 1. Then shuffle your stack, and then your turn when you play Lady Devi or Mirai, gain a memory. And then while you have a purple Digimon in play, all your Digimon with Angel, Archangel, and Fallen Angel in their traits gain blocker. Not a bad trade-off. The problem comes down to is that Black War Greymon exists. It really is the problem. But there we go. So the next card we're going to review is green. This has the new Tenemon and the new Rusty deck, which plays with Digimon. So, with the effects of being able to play stuff for free, it kind of is useful. But it did give Tenemon the ability, if you have a green Tamer in play, draw a card. We have now more consistent way of drawing value for us in these multiple Digitamas for BT-11. Surprisingly, this now creates a very interesting dynamic, because as long as you have a Tamer out, which is very consistent in most decks, more draw value equals more consistency. And the first card we're going to talk about is none other than the on-play Agumon. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 Tamer among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in order, and while you have a Tamer in play, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. What upset me a little bit about this set was, yes, we got Rust Tyrannomon support and stuff like that, but where is the War Greymon for green? It should have been the secret, in my opinion, but hey, that's just me. I'm not going to get fully upset. You shouldn't either. Next card, though, we're going to talk about, though, is Tyrannomon from BT-11 here. So, on play, when Digivolving, you may play 1 Tamer card with a play cost 3 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. Really interesting to see that they kind of just gave it a very generic play a Tamer, so that if it's green or red, you can splash it in and you just get a free Tamer very easily. That is a 3 cost, which isn't bad in most instances, actually. What this could lead into is being a free Cool Boy if you're playing X-Antibody decks, especially if you Digivolve for 3. Yes, it's 3 cost body evolve, but you get a Tamer out of the deal, so you don't lose both in the same instances. I think this sneaking into maybe some X-Antibody decks could work, but if not, just don't give a flying hoot about it and just play Taiga. And it's in the Rusty deck. That's just how that's going to go. And then your turn, while you have a Tamer in play, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. Fun stuff there. Next card, though, is Metal Tyrannomon for the Tyrannomon deck. This card is on play for each green or black Tamer you have in play. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then one of your opponent's suspended Digimon cannot unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. This thing is Cyborg, so it's splashed in Machine Dramon as well. So this card, even though it's played in Rusty, you would play this in Machine Dramon just for this on-play ability, or when Digivolving, whatever comes first. but also all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Since we can redirect in none other than, guess who? Machine Dramon. And being able to redirect the attack, if we survive and kill their Digimon, we get a free security trash. Very easy to achieve, in my opinion, and it's really scary that way. Then we have Digimon. So when Digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 Tamer card among them without paying its memory cost. So he Digivolves on black and green. Really good, solid card, I think. It's a slept-on deck, but the problem comes down to it just can't keep up with Black War Greymon. It kind of just holds its own against like the other stuff, and it can just go a few rounds with them. But I feel like the fact is that there's just not enough searcher for him. And the deck doesn't really search him, so you have to really rely on top decking most of the pieces. So it gets a little challenging there. But when attacking once per turn, for each green or black tamer you have in play, reveal the top card of your deck. You may play any number of green or black Digimon cards among them with a total play cost of 10 or less without paying their memory cost. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. He can formulate a board really quickly and massively. So, again, if you get a couple tamers, you get to get a free massive reveal and maybe get a few bodies out of it. What gets really nasty is getting the free Metal Tyrannomon out of the deal, which can lead to being very powerful plays. And then we have Rusty. When one of your other Digimon would Digivolve into this card, for each green or black tamer you have in play, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. But all turns, when this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon by battle, so unsuspend it. It doesn't have blocker, which kind of upsets me a little bit. If he just had blocker and it was able to delete a Digimon by battle, if you hit magic numbers with this, this would have been really good. Most of these are your turns, which I wish these green ones were just all turns. It would have presented Rusty in a way that would apply pressure to your opponent, especially against Black War Greymon, because he would just come out and just wait for them to swing. They have to suspend themselves to apply pressure. So, what are they going to do? If you can get over their magic number, since you're at 13, all you needed was these to be all turns, plus 2000 DP, while you have a Tamer in play. It would have probably balanced the deck out, or even restricted down to being Rust Tyrannomon or something like that. If you made it so restrictive, but gave it so it was a way of countering, I feel like this deck would have done really well in the format. But now kind of just a little struggle here. Palmon is for your Bloom Hydra decks. This card is started your turn, draw a card. Really good. Especially the longer it stays on board, the more consistency engine you get out of it. And that's all it takes, is just this Palmon to be on board for a full rotation click. And the more turns after that is just more value, in my opinion. Then we have Vegemon, whose start of turn gain you a memory. Both cards are used in Bloom Hydra. Gaining that extra memory and draw just really pushes you ahead. Then we have Green Madoki Beta, that's just basically Rookie Rush fodder. Ninjamon is your turn when you play a Tamer, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Nothing really too crazy there. Then you have Digitamamon, just a vanilla. Then Titamon with Piercing. When Digivolve, you may trash 3 cards, up to 3 cards in your hand. For each card trashed by this effect, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then gain 1 memory for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon. Really gets nasty, especially if they have a wide board and they're already suspended from a previous turn. Titamon can lead to being some nasty plays, in my opinion. And then we do have Hercules Kabuterimon X Antibody. Extra security check. Digivolves on top of a Hercules Kabuterimon for 1. And then when Digivolving of Hercules Kabuterimon or X Antibodies in his Digimon's Digievolution cards, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of its owner's deck. Okay. Being able to rewind something, really useful, but it doesn't apply enough pressure to Black War Greymon. And then we have Panjamon. So this card is treated as Leomon, and when Digivolving, you may play a blue or green Tamer card with a play cost 4 or less from your hand without paying its memory cost. Your turn once per turn, when you would play another Digimon by an effect, one of your Digimon gains Rush until the end of turn. This card is quite useful, in my opinion. Is it going to see competitive play? Not really. The Leomon deck is a sleeper deck. It just needs a really solid top end. It does have potential. It has uniqueness, but it still struggles a little bit against Black War Greymon. And that's just because even though we have sticky bodies, they're just blowing up our tamers, not caring. And it just, the deck gets really, really struggly a bit. What do I mean about that? What do I mean by that is that the deck wants to stick, but as long as they're just free removal and everything like that, again, that just comes with the territory, I think. Next, let's talk about the black and the dreaded, King of the Ring. So, Koromon here, you can play the black version, but the red version is just better at all days. Opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, if this Digimon's name contains Greymon, draw a card. So, especially since Black War Greymon's just going to pop something, it's just going to deal some damage there. Agumon X Antibody doesn't really see much play unless you're playing the black version. But on play, when Digivolving, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 card with Greymon or X Antibody in its name and 1 black tamer among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. Okay. Not terrible. I mean, being able to grab a black tamer among them is useful. But all turns, when this Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, an effect would delete it or return it to hand or deck. You may return 1 X Antibody in this Evolution cards to the bottom of this owner's deck to prevent it leaving play. I still don't understand why this had to be the exact same as its predecessor as the red-based, but instead of removing sources to, keep it in balance, now you just have to have the X Antibody option, and that gives you 1 free protection. In most instances, that's just enough to keep you on the board. It means sticky enough that you just laugh at your opponent because they can't just kill you. Then we have probably one of the more busted cards of the set. Your turn, when this Digimon would be Digivolve into a card with Greymon in its name, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1 for each of its colors. So, since most of it is dual color, red-black, your ultimate line will guarantee you being a 2 cost. Most of them are 4 cost. This now gets subjugated to being a 2 cost. And that leads to being annoying, because this can just instantly climb with a cool boy on board, instantly go into it, don't care, whoop-de-doo, you memory choke me. Whatever, I have a cool boy, I go to 2 anyway, it keeps it my turn, go into a Black War Greymon after that, and make you cry. So, that's just how that goes. And then it's got the protection body, similar to the Agumon. And then we have Metal Greymon X Antibody. When Digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn, your opponent's effects cannot reduce this Digimon's DP, and it cannot be de-Digivolved. Why? Why? Why do we have this kind of protection? We didn't need this protection. Minusing DP should have never given it a protection like that. I think balancing the deck, it's fine to make it so you can't bounce or, spin it back. That's fine. But now giving it the ability to DP minus protection, now basically the only card that can interact with it is Chaos Degradation. Why? Why are we designing cards like this that make it so it's really impossible to deal with? I mean, it can't be de-Digivolved. So now, any black mirror matches make it pointless to even try to de-Digivolve this. And what is then, if this Digimon has Metal Greymon or X Antibody on his Digivolution, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. So on top of that, now you get to hit most ultimates in cases. This literally kills off any Mastamon plays, because once you de-Digivolve it into its ultimate, you instantly kill it with the Metal Greymon X Antibody. So I'm trying to be positive about this, but something needs to give on this deck, and I really don't think this deck should survive that long. Opponent's turn, once per turn, when a Digimon becomes unsuspended, if this Digimon name contains Greymon or Omnimon, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Free value, isn't it? Just free damage. We're going to play the long game. Climb up, free protection from your options. You're not removing this. I'm going to trash a few securities. Whatever. And then we have Black War Greymon X Antibody Reboot. Opponent's turn, when your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP attacks, you may switch the target of that attack to this Digimon. So fun! Now your opponent can't even stop lethal in some circumstances because this thing can redirect attacks. And then on top of it, opponent's turn, when a Digimon becomes unsuspended, if this Digimon has Black War Greymon or X Antibody in his Digievolution, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. Okay. I don't mind in certain circumstances. I really don't. Why is it just such control-y? It's a mid-range deck. And I understand completely what they're trying to do with the deck. But you don't need to break a deck and give it so that it's got a different clause. Yes, it's longer in the game, but once a fully developed Black War Greymon X antibody deck is a full stack, you have basically the turn it promotes up to remove it. And that's it. The turn it got promoted up. If you cannot kill it or remove it by that turn, the second one will kill you, because by the time you get a second chance at removing the first one, they already have the second one built up in the stack. So that just kind of makes it a really frustrating just to deal with that. Then we have Monmon. So all turns, this Digimon cannot be returned to its owner's hand or deck by your opponent's effects. Not a bad card, just being able to prevent spinning back. I mean, it's a cute little Digi. Jiramon. This card is treated as Numamon, but on play, by trashing one card with Numamon or Sukamon or Nanimon or Edamon in its name, draw 2 cards. I think that is really good, being able to plus value there. And then we have Tekamon. So Reboot Tekamon. It's got a reboot. It's a machine. I wouldn't play it. Doesn't see play at all. Then we have Gigadramon jamming, but also gives an inheritable reboot. Helps the Machine Dramon deck out completely, but that jamming is really nice to get some free small damage in. Then we have the new Machine Dramon on play. When Digivolving, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Add 1 analog man among them to your hand, and 1 card with Machine or Cyborg and traits among them to your hand, or to the bottom of the Digi-Evolution card. Trash the rest. Fuels your graveyard, speeds you up a bit. And then on deletion, by returning 1 of your analog man in play to the bottom of its owner's deck, you may play 1 Machine Dramon from your hand without paying its memory cost. Woohoo! Free Machine Dramon keeps it your turn, especially if your opponent deletes it. Oh, congratulations. I get a new Machine Dramon. That might just bring it back to my turn. That's cool. Then we have Mamamon. So on play, when Digivolving, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. You may play 1 Tamer card with a play cost 4 or less among them without paying its memory cost. Place the remaining cards at the top of the deck or bottom of your deck in any order. The ability to choose which way this is going. All these dead cards aren't going to really do much for me. Put them to the bottom. These cards are really good. I need them coming up. Well, let me rearrange them in a way that I draw them really well. Very powerful skill in itself. I'm surprised it's a rare. This would have probably been really good on a super rare, in my opinion. But Memamon, really good to see you, boy. And then your turn, when you play another Digimon by an effect, one of your opponent's Digimon gains blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. Wow, free blocker. Not bad trade-off, in my opinion. And then we have Justimon Excel Arm. When Digivolving, by returning 1 non-Justimon Excel Arm, reveal level 6 card from this Digi-Evolution cards to its owner's hand. This Digimon gains Security +1 and Piercing, being able to cycle in. But when attacking, if you have a Tamer in play, you may Digivolve this Digimon into a non-Justimon Excel Arm Digimon card with Justimon in its name in your hand for memory cost 2, ignoring its Digi-Evolution requirements. So, reduces in, but cycles in more Justimon support. And this allows you to get the OTK off a little bit easier because now it's got a Security Plus and a Piercing. Just wish it got more power, in my opinion. And then we have the, basically, villain deck of the set. We have Venmon. So, you can include up to 50 cards with this card's number in it, card number in this deck. So, basically, this Venmon has a bunch of fun stuff there. But, by suspending this Digimon, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Snatchmon, Destruomon, Galacticmon, or Fusionize from among them to your hand. Place 1 Venmon from among them at the bottom of this Digi-Evolution card. Return the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. Your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into Destrudo or Galactic, reduce the memory cost for the Digi-Evolution by 1. This stacks, so this means your Galacticmon can become free, your Destrudomon could become free, your Snatchmon is most likely going to be free, but when Digivolving, you may place up to 2 Venmon from your trash to the bottom of the Digi-Evolution card. Then, if this Digimon has 4 or more Venmon in its Digivolution cards, return 1 Fusionize from your trash to your hand. The option, boys and girls. All turns, when you will return a Venmon from the Digivolution cards to the bottom of the deck, unsuspend this Digimon gains blocker until the end of opponent's next turn. Okay, cool, free blocker. And then Destruomon, so it can Digivolve for 6 on top of Venmon, so you can warp into it. Not a bad trade-off. But when Digivolving, reveal 3 cards to the top of your deck, place 1 Venmon from among them to at the bottom of this Digivolution cards, trash the remaining cards. Then if this Digimon has 5 or more Venmon in its Digivolution, delete one of your opponent's Tamers. Being able to pop a Tamer can help you out in most instances, but also opponent's turn, when your opponent's Digimon attacks by returning 2 Venmon from one of your Galactimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of your owner's deck, switch the attack target to this Digimon. So since, you know, Galacticmon is a big 14,000 DP Digimon, he's quite powerful. Start a main phase, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack of your main phase, really good, but all turns when this Digimon would leave play, you may prevent it from leaving play by returning 4 Venmon from this Digivolution card to the bottom of your deck. So basically cycling more pieces, but Galacticmon is very powerful. When Digivolving, you may place up to 4 Venmon from your trash at the bottom of this Digivolution cards. Then if this Digimon has 8 or more Venmon in its Digivolution, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. Free delete, really not a bad trade-off in my opinion. But Galacticmon is just a powerhouse in itself. And then finally, Muso Nightmon. This card is Dark Nightmon plus Toromon. This card really sees a small little play in black, you know, Dark Nightmon decks, but hey, that's about it. On play, when Digivolving, you may place up to 1 Digimon card with Nightmon in its name or Bagra in its traits from your hand or trash to the top of this Digivolution card. Then, if this Digimon has Toromon in its Digivolution, Digivolve 3 of your opponent's Digimon. Across the board for 1 Digivolution. Not a bad trade-off. On deletion, you may return up to 2 black or purple Digimon cards from your trash to your hand. It is a Digicross for a Dark Nightmon and a Toromon. So, I don't think this is terrible. Musomon has some potential. I think he just needs another round of... we need a really good Toomon, which we get in BT-12. So, I think this is really solid here. Next, we do have the purples. We have Tsunamon. So when a card is trashed from your hand by an effect, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP for the turn. Won't see play. Very trash rookie. Then we have Ignitemon. So this card is using Crossheart sometimes. But most purple decks started catering to this card because of how powerful it is. When attacking, by deleting one of your other Digimon, delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with a level less than or equal to the deleted Digimon's level. So, if you have a 6 and you want to pop it and it can spit out another body, congratulations. You can just pop a level 6 with this. Or even a level 7 if you wanted to. But all turns, when you would play a Digimon by an effect, gain 1 memory. So free value if you get some bodies on the board for free. Then we have Soulmon with Retaliation. All turns, all of your Digimon with Retaliation get plus 2000 DP. Making it really powerful, wider boards, and they're more likely to survive. And then we have Dark Kaisermon. So, Risermon. So, Retaliation. On deletion, draw a card, then trash 1 card from your hand. Not a bad trade-off there. And then we have Blue Marimon, Retaliation. When Digivolving, draw 2, then trash 2 cards from your hand. And then when you would play Digimon by effect, gain 1 memory. So, Ignitemon's little effect. But we also have Mervamon here. So, my Nervamon finally got her counterpart. When you would play this Digimon, you may also place cards from your trash in its Digivolution cards for Digicrossing. It can come down to a 8 cost on play. 8 costs. Yep. That's about it. That's about it. On play, when Digivolving, you may place 1 purple level 4 or lower Digimon card or 1 level 4 or lower card with Crossheart in its traits from your trash without paying its memory cost. If you Digicross, add 1 card to the number of cards you play with this effect. All turns, all your Digimon with Retaliation or Crossheart gains Rush and Blocker. So it's not a bad trade-off. She is quite powerful, especially it can speed up numbers, especially in Crossheart. This was used as the top end because she could easily just spit out a body. Well, let me rephrase this. When Digivolving, she spits out a body. It gains Rush, and it's a blocker. What is your opponent going to really do to that when you have a free attacker on top of everything else? So it's not a bad trade-off in my opinion. Especially since if you play a free body with her effect, I mean, that now gets you to activate your tamers, which will gain you a memory because you played something, will gain you draw power because you played something. So, not a bad thing there. And then we have Chikurimon on play. By deleting this Digimon, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Bagra and its traits among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. On deletion, save. Opponent's turn, when this Digi-Evolution card is trashed by an effect, gain 1 memory. So, I mean, a lot of the Bagra is interactive, but the problem is it just didn't get the right support. Or it's just a turn too slow, in my opinion. Mad Leo, Armor Mode. So, opponent's turn, when an effect card adds to your opponent's hand. By trashing 1 of the Digi-Evolution cards, draw 2 cards. On deletion, save. And then Digicross with Mad Leo and then one of your Bagra armies. Opponent's turn, when this Digi-Evolution card is trashed by an effect, gain 1 memory. They all have that gain 1 memory, so I'm not really going to dive too far in that. Then you have Towamon. Opponent's turn, when this Digi-Evolution card, you know, that whole thing. Decoy for Bagra, that helps out. It Digivolves for 1 cost on top of Daemon. And then all turns, your Yua can't be deleted. Helps protect you a little bit. And on deletion, you may play 1 Daemon from your trash, suspended without paying its memory cost. Gets you more free value, in my opinion. We're all set and ready to go with that. I think Towamon is pretty useful. And then we have Lilithmon here on play. Trash the top 4 cards of your deck. Then add up to 2 cards with Bagra and its traits from among them to your trash, to your hand. Place up to 2 cards with Bagra and its traits from your trash under one of your tamers. So this helps with the Yu so that he'll gain some memory out of this. Opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon moves from breeding area by trashing 1 card in the Digi-Evolution, that Digimon gains when attacking, lose 3 memory. If you can get this set up early enough, Lilithmon can lead to being some problems for your opponent to deal with. But all in all, solid for Bagra Army. Wish Bagra Army was just better. And then we have Bagra himself. So we've been waiting a long time for Bagra, the king here. On play, when Digivolving, if your opponent has 1 or fewer Digimon in play, look at your opponent's hand, trash 1 card among them. If your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, place 1 of your opponent's Digimon under one of your opponent's other Digimon as a bottom Digi-Evolution card. If they don't have anything else, you just Thoughtseize them, though. I like that. I like that. Being able to remove 1 card from your opponent's hand really can lead to being devastating enough. But the problem is Bagra's just not strong enough. And then all turns, once returned, when an opponent's Digimon Digivolves, or when an effect adds a card to your opponent's Digi-Evolution cards. By trashing 1 card in Digi-Evolution, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Free security trashing. Really fun, in my opinion. Then we have Dokonmon. There's a vanilla here. Then we have Devimon, so this combos with the Angemon. While you have a yellow Digimon or yellow Tamer in play, this Digimon gains Rush and Retaliation. Free value there. Then you have Lady Devi for when Digivolving, you may trash 1 card from your hand. If you do, return 1 Mirai, or 1 card with Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel in its traits from your trash to your hand. Your turn, when you play an Angelwomon or Mirai, gain 1 memory. And then while you have a yellow Digimon in play, all your Digimon with Angel, Archangel, or Fallen gain Retaliation. Useful effects if they could just stay on the board. And then we have Waros Seedramon. So on play, when Digivolving, you may play 1 purple or blue level 3 Digimon card from your purple or blue Digi-Evolution cards without paying its memory cost. When your Digimon is played by an effect, gain 1 memory. Okay. Not a bad trade-off in my opinion, but hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Then, let's get into the Tamers. We only have a few here. We have Analog Man. This combos really well with, guess who? Machinedramon. So, start a main phase by trashing 1 level 5 card with Cyborg and traits from your hand. Gain 1 memory, draw a card. Opponent's turn, when your opponent's Digimon attacks a player. By suspending this Tamer, you may switch the attack target to one of your level 6s with machines and traits instead. So, basically, being able to redirect some of the attacks really does help out, especially if you're trying to just have them die to Machinedramon if he's big and beefy. Yuya. Start a main phase, sets you to 3. Your turn, when one of your Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon with Greymon in its name, by suspending this Tamer, that Digimon gets plus 2000 DP until the end of the opponent's turn. And if you Digivolve into the same level Digimon, that Digimon isn't affected by effects of your opponent's option cards until the end of your opponent's next turn. Why did it need this protection? Like, seriously, I think there's just a fine bubble of just, we're going to protect this thing with our lives, and they just went full send for Black War Greymon. And then Nikolai. So, starter main phase, one of your Digimon with Galmon or Galgamon in his name gains jamming until the end of turn. And then your turn, when an effect adds a card to your opponent's hand by suspending the Tamer, gain 1 memory. I mean, your turn restriction really sucks. It should have been both players' turn, but hey, that's just me. Rena. Rena is one of our secrets. She is on play. One of your Digimon with Vmon or Vdramon in its name gains blocker and evade until the end of your opponent's turn. Gives a small little protection. All turns, when one of your Digimon with Vdramon in its name becomes suspended, by suspending this tamer, activate that Digimon's when Digivolving effect. Your turn, when one of your blue Digimon unsuspends, gains 1 memory once per turn. So it helps extend your plays, but the problem comes down to is Black or Greymon is a thing. Then you have Taiga here. All turns, your Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. When one of your green Digimon would Digivolve into a level 5 or higher card, but you may suspend this tamer to reduce that Digievolution cost by 1. I love Taiga. Really powerful. It's not restrictive at all. I mean, it is level 5 or higher, but hey, being able to reduce that really comes up in clutches here. And then we have Mirai, the super rare. First super rare tamer. Start a main phase, gain 1 memory. Your turn, when you would Digivolve into an Angelwomon or Lady Devi, if you have 1 or less Digimon in play, by suspending this tamer, you may play 1 Angelwomon or Lady Devi from your hand without paying, with a different name from the Digimon that Digivolve without paying its memory cost. So basically, if you Digivolve on Yadomon for an Angelwomon, and then instantly go and play a Devimon, Lady Devi, that's a pretty good value there. Then you can instantly Jagras. And that's going to help you out a lot. And then we do have Akihiko. So she is on play. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 red Digimon with vaccine in its traits among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. And then when you would play a red Digimon with bird, avian, beast, 4 sovereign, animal in one of its traits, except sea animal, by an effect, by suspending this tamer, that Digimon gains rush for the turn. Not bad. Wish it wasn't the fact that, you know, when you would play a red Digimon, I wish it was any color. It would have saved us so much trouble. But Rush is really good. So it puts in the work for the Birdramon deck and a whole. And, you know, the Marsmon. And then we have Hirai, Nene, and Taiki. So start a main phase by placing 1 card with Crossheart in its name. Blue Flare in its traits under this tamer. Gain 1 memory. Draw a card. When you would play a Digimon with Digicross requirements, so suspending this tamer, you may place 1 card from under your tamers as a Digievolution card for Digicross. Not a bad deal. I think it's quite powerful, being a, you know, gains you value by putting stuff underneath. Hey, not a bad trade-off. And then finally, we're into the options, boys and girls. So fusionize the Galacticmon stuff. When you would use this card, if you have Snatchamon in play, reduce the cost by 1, becomes 0 cost. By placing Venmon or Destruomon from your trash at the bottom of one of your Digi-Evolution cards, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into Destruomon or Galacticmon in your trash by paying its memory cost. So, since we're reducing all the Venmons anyway by the effect of Digi-Evolution, this card can be ridiculous. Cutie Kicks! This card is for your Sukamon deck, King Sukamon. When you would use this card, if you have a Black Tamer in play, reduce the cost by 1, becomes free. One of your Digimon with Numamon, Sukamon, Nanimon, or Edamon, his name is unblockable and gains on deletion, gain 3 memory until the end of opponent's turn. But also, security, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 black Digimon card with a play cost 3 or less among them without paying its memory cost. Trash the rest. I think that's really good. Cute cycling. And then we have DG Dimensions. So when you would use this option, if you have a Black Tamer in play, reduce the cost by 1 because it's a 7 cost option. Digivolve 3 of your opponent's Digimon, and then delete 3 of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 6 or less. Sometimes that comes up, sometimes it doesn't. Sad as it is, but it's a very powerful option in all honesty. Haiti Force! Ooh, this card here. When you would use this card, if you have a Digimon with X Antibodies Digi-Evolution in play, reduce the memory cost by 2, so this becomes a 5 cost. They are in balance, right? Choose any number of your opponent's Digimon and Tamers whose total play cost adds up to the play cost of one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name. In its play, less than, delete them. And then one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name attacks your opponent. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. I think that's really powerful for what it does. Then you have Maelstrom. You may play 1 blue Digimon card from one of your blue Digimon's Digi-Evolution without paying its memory cost. Then, if you have a Digimon with Seedramon in its name, return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower to the bottom of the owner's deck. Coolio. And then we have Ice Statue. When you would use this card, if you have a blue Tamer in play, reduce the cost by 1. Trash the 3 top 3 Digi-Evolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digi-Evolutions to its owner's hand. I wish it was a little bit better. 5 costs isn't bad, but at the same time, not that good. Choose one of your High Mega Blaster. Choose one of your Digimon with Insectoid in his traits. Suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to the chosen Digimon. Then one of your opponent's Digimon, suspended Digimon, doesn't unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. Cool. Beam and lockdown stuff. Here is Green's Ice Wall. When you would use this card, if you have a green tamer in play, reduce the cost by 1. All your opponent's Digimon gain all turns when this Digimon becomes suspended. Lose 1 memory until the end of opponent's next turn. Wish it was a little bit better. Wish it was 2 for the cost you're paying, but hey. Then we have Buster Dive. When you would use this card, if you have a green tamer in play, reduce the memory cost of this card by 1. One of your Digimon gains 5,000 DP and Rush until the end of turn. And then one of your Digimon may attack your opponent's Digimon. Good for the Tyranno deck. That's about it. Then we have Astral Snatcher. You may place up to 3 Digimon cards with Bagra Army and traits from your trash at the bottom of one of your Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards, or at the bottom of your Tamers. Then, if you have a Digimon or Tamer with Bagra and traits, place one of your opponent's Digimon under one of their other Digimon as a bottom Digi-Evolution cost. I like that they tried something, but then all of a sudden in the following set, they went like, yeah, we need to put it under Tamers because most people are just building up and erasing and just doing OTK formats. Then Evil Squall. When you would use this card, if you have a purple Tamer in play, reduce it by 1. Delete 3 of your opponent's Digimon, unsuspended Digimon level 5 or lower. It can come up. Good. Magna Bomb. When you would use this, if you have a red Tamer in play, reduce the cost by 1. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. They got the 1 singleton. Not bad. But it's a 5 cost in most instances. Then we have Crimson Flare. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less. Then if you have a red Tamer in play, activate the one of the on-deletion effects of one of your opponent's red Digimon with vaccine in its traits. Not bad. Used in maybe the Marsmon Phoenixmon deck, but sometimes they're not even looking at it. Megalo Spark. So this becomes a 4 cost. If you have a yellow Tamer in play, main one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 8,000 DP until the end of opponent's next turn. I like the minusing 8,000 DP. Very easy to just get Digimon really ridiculous that are very powerful. And then Holy Sunshine. When you would play this card, if you have a yellow Tamer in play, reduce the cost by 1. 3 of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP and security minus 1 until the end of opponent's next turn. I wish it was just a blanket effect, to be honest with you, with how powerful, high cost this is. But that's just me. So guys, what did you think of the set breakdown? What deck are you going to be playing in this format? Hopefully it's not Black War Greymon. Hopefully not. So guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and peace!